if you're not around the right people that actually want to see you do good, or if you're not around the right people that aren't doing better than you and you want to do what they're doing, you're never going to learn. Like, you need to be around the people you want to be.
Welcome to a new episode of Real Estate vs. Technology. I'm your host, Norman Kinsey. We have no co-host today. Dan Gandy is not available as he's been getting really busy with his business, but we'll have him, I'm sure, on the next episode. Big thanks to Liftoff Agent for sponsoring the show. And today we're going to be going up to Canada and we're going to be interviewing someone on the Wolfpack team. If you don't already know, you got to check out the Wolfpack. They're absolutely crushing it. Mike Sherrard and Connor. We've had both of them on Real Estate vs. Technology. And let's bring the man in. We got the one and only Evan Young on the show. Welcome to Real Estate vs. Technology, brother.
What's up, Norm? How you doing today, man? It's good to see you.
Dude, likewise, bro. It was crazy. We've already been vibing out behind the scenes for like 20 minutes before we even went on air. Evan's like, I thought we were already recording.
I thought we were recording. I thought we were already doing it. I was fired up.
Just vibing out, bro. Vibing out. But no, we're recording now. And we were kind of talking about all things, which is awesome. But it was cool because it gave me a perspective and gave me a little bit more idea as far as the direction to take the show today. Because people out there really want to dial in systems, right? People that are in the industry as far as real estate professionals, mortgage professionals, a lot of people we have on the show. We do have some technology providers as well, like Dan Corcoran, Follow Up Boss. If anyone hasn't seen his episode, you got to check it out. But we were talking about before we got on air, some of the systems, some of the things that like, you're like, dude, I don't want to do these things. I want to delegate the things I don't want to have to do. I want to do the things that I really want to focus on, even from the perspective of like your books, reconciling the books and going through that and accounting, all that type of stuff. So, so where did you get to the conclusion of like, because you even someone like you and I are on the same page with this, you kick ass during the weeks and you take that weekend for your family and have some fun and kind of just turn off so you can have that contrast. At what point did it come up for you, man, where you're like, dude, I need to delegate?
Yeah, it just, well, man, and once I got around Mike more last year,
Okay.
Mike Sherrard,
Yeah,
and seeing what they're doing and how much growing is possible, it really turned everything around, right? Normally, I was like, okay, this is possible. And then when I left my six-figure job to jump into entrepreneurship full time, that was a big deal, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm doing okay. How am I going to grow here? And these things, I mean, I don't think anybody ever has it perfect. You're always learning as you go, right?
Yeah.
But the more and more things you do, and the only way to grow is to have systems in place. Your bookkeeping, your content, your CRM, everything. And I just started to learn. I'm like, okay, I need to be doing things that's gonna make me money.
Yeah.
Right. Adding up receipts, sending out a weekly email, sending out bank statements, posting on my social media. That's taking up time.
Yeah.
A lot of time. How am I going to prospect more? I need to be out knocking on doors. I need to be cold calling. I need to be sending handwritten letters. And when you have all this other stuff looked after, again, on the weekends, you and I, we both have young kids, right?
Yeah.
So I don't want to do that much on the weekends, especially in the summertime. You want to be on the deck barbecuing and with the family and taking your kids out or teach them how to ride a bike or whatever. You don't want to be doing all this stuff all the time. And, and I think the way the real estate industry is going with you see it down the States, right? With the NAR, it's crazy, man. So I think now having all these systems in place and starting to build up your sphere more so you can become more listing dominant, right? That's the key, getting that CRM dialed in. I'm really focused on that, but I don't have time for that if I don't have people doing things for me, delegating it all out. Does that make sense?
100%. No, I agree 100%. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense because I think a lot of individuals understand. And it's crazy. You went from the 8-figure job to then now being in real estate. And it's almost like all those systems and things that you followed within like your normal job, like now you have to like reimagine them for your own now business. Like, how do I put in these systems and these processes so that way I can scale this thing, right?
Right.
Because I mean, a lot of agents don't think about that. They're just like, well, it's just like the next deal, and then some don't have the systems and they're stressed out because there's nothing to track. They don't go into their, like I heard on your podcast, you were talking to one of your partners, one of your buddies, about the fact that like 50% of agents don't even go into their CRM system. They don't even like check it.
No, that's a true stat, Norm. It's a
It's
true stat, man.
crazy.
I was in that 50% for a long time. I was like,
Hey,
man,
I'm right
I'm
there with you.
like, like I was in that, and I'm really getting it dialed in, and like all my clients' birthdays are in there, and they automatically get a birthday message or the home anniversary. Like all
Yeah, yeah,
those
yeah.
touches are huge, right?
Yeah.
So having all that dialed in, and you just constantly growing on it. We've been working on that, but I just think, yeah, a lot of agents. I was one of them, and I kicked myself in the ass for not, but learning that sooner. But it's all who you're around, man. Like,
Yeah.
if you're not around the right people that actually want to see you do good, or if you're not around the right people that aren't doing better than you, and you want to do what they're doing, you're never gonna learn. Like, you need to be around the
100%.
people you want to be.
Yeah, I
So
agree. I mean, before we were on the air, we actually were talking about like the travel trailer and just hacking your living environment, and like who has a travel trailer who's listening, or has a vacation home, and like or even toys, and it's like they sit, you don't use them, they sit, and they collect dust, and then it's just like you don't use them, they start to rust or they start to just like fall
mhm.
apart. And so we're talking about just hacking it and just utilizing the travel trailer, so that way when you are working and you're not using it through those weekends, then someone else could be using it and you could be bringing in passive income that could even help with your business as a real estate agent. So that way you can actually have more income coming in and it's more passive. So you don't actually have to think about like the next deal if, you're going on vacation or whatever else.
Yeah, yeah. If you can get different sources of income and get rid of that stress, it makes you way more relaxed. I think as an
Yeah.
entrepreneur, in our case, like in my case for sure, a real estate agent. And if you're uptight, like people can tell that you need the deal, right? Like
Yeah.
they can tell, they can read you. When I go into a listing now, 9 times out of 10, I get it because I'm so relaxed and I'm just like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. A team in place, blah 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 blah. Everything's like dialed
Mm-hmm.
in, right?
I
And
love that.
I look back now, I'm like, I can't even believe people used to work with me, man. I had no idea what I was doing, you know.
Well, it's
But
it's awesome because I feel like a lot of times agents, what they don't think about it like this. It's like a professional, right? Someone like yourself, myself, Mike Sherrard, and the people that are like the top 1% in the industry, they go into a situation and it's like they already got the deal. They're not
yeah,
thinking that, are they going to choose me? Are they not going to choose me? They're not thinking that, oh, who else is going to come in after me? And are they going to do better than me? They literally go in, and I'm sure this is you because this is like me. I go in like the deal is already closed, and I
yeah,
talk to them and I go through the process and I go through everything like it's already happened. And then I feel like people like that confidence because just like you and I are busy, dude, homeowners are busy. People that want to sell their home, they got so much going on, and they got to sell a home, and they got to get a moving truck, and they got to declutter, and they got to do staging, and they got to go move somewhere else. Like now they got to interview all these agents.
I know. I know. I was on the phone with a person yesterday. I just called them up, cold call. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
my wife's cousin has a couple agents. We're gonna probably get them. I was like, well, I highly recommend interviewing at least 3 or 4. Right? Just so I
there
can
you
go in.
go.
Okay, yeah, yeah. He goes,
Yeah,
do you mind stopping by with some stuff? I'm like, great. I got
yeah,
everything ready to go. Listing package, a full CMA. It's all done up, right? Just hit
yeah.
print, go. Like most people don't even show up with anything,
Nothing,
right? Like it's
nothing.
good, man. It's just again having everything in place. I never had that. Like if that's one thing I can say from what I've learned, like I mean, man, my family's everything, my business is everything. Everything else, whatever. Like just I stay in my lane. Just
I love that.
if you want to grow, you have to be around the right people. That's it. That's
Amen.
it. Right? And
Yeah,
that's why I'm in the Wolfpack with Mike and And like, I'm honored to be on here with your show today, man. Like,
Let's go.
you're friggin'
Appreciate you.
killing it, Norman. It's
I
awesome, and I
appreciate
love
you.
it. And that's what I like. That's what I want. I want to learn from all you guys, right? So you got to be in
Yeah.
the right room with these people. So
100%, man. And that's where it's like I had this Monopoly piece, and as soon as I saw it online, I was like, I gotta get it. And it says if your circle doesn't inspire you, you don't have a circle, you have a cage. And it's like a Monopoly piece with the Monopoly man, and there's a cage, and he's like flying out of the cage because he like broke free. Because so many people are in these inner circles that are just like toxic for them. And so and
don't
it's
even
it makes
realize
they don't even realize it. Yeah, they didn't realize it. And that's where like I feel like networking, events, podcasts, books, YouTube videos, it's like huge difference. And that's why you and I were just vibing out before we even got started and just talked about a bunch of stuff that we both were kind of going what's going on in our lives and kids and this and that and systems and processes and
it.
then and got recorded. And that's why I like doing this podcast because there's some people out there that are stumbling and maybe don't want to go to an event or maybe they don't like to read books or, you know, they haven't found their inner circle yet. And they come and find this. And then now they meet you here on the show. And then
Yeah.
before you know it, they're part of your downline, your Wolfpack. And, you know, and then they're having more success.
Oh man, like going to the Wolfpack. When I first joined, like, I mean, I got on the phone with Mike, right, and he was just telling me everything. Obviously, I came because of Mike.
Yeah.
When I first joined, though, man, I still, I'm gonna say the first year, I still didn't really get it, and I'll even tell Mike, I was like, man, like, people from our town, they almost laugh because what do you think of when you hear the Wolfpack, the Hangover, right? So people,
Ah,
right? So people kind of
yeah.
like a lot of local agents, they just kind of laughed at it, but not knowing how powerful it was.
Yeah.
And then when I went, so I didn't even really get it until I went to the event and got around Mike and Connor and all these guys, and then started going on the mastermind calls every week. And dude, like, being in this circle changes everything. There's no secrets. This is how we do it. This is what you got to do. Telling you
Yep.
every single thing what to do. And like, in all these brick and mortar offices, like, nobody's telling you anything, man. It's
Nothing.
all a friggin' locked up secret. And like,
Yes. It is
it's hard.
ridiculous. It's like,
Eh,
and then what are you supposed to do? It's like, oh, just, you know, this is what you do. And they give you some information, but not a whole lot of information. And then a lot of agents too that are seasoned, they kind of like guard the treasure chest and they don't
Yeah.
want to like give the information. And it's like, you know, that's one thing about like the Wolfpack, which is great. You know, Mike and Connor and everyone is that they want to give, they want to give, they want to serve, they want to support because giving is a part of your legacy, man. It's like the success that you're going to have, you're going to contribute to the Wolfpack and Mike, you know, and Connor and all the guys there because that was something that put something in perspective for you to go in that direction. So did you join the Wolfpack before or after you quit your job and get into the industry?
Before, man, I actually, so I've been in the industry for 7 years now. But
Okay, okay.
honestly, this is the truth, dude. Like, um, I would, yeah, I was in it for 7 years, but only really doing it for like the last two. Does that make sense?
Wow. Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I
yeah.
was thought I was doing it. I'm like, holy shit! Like, I'm making good money, but I'm doing
Yeah.
okay. But now, once again got out of that circle, joined
Mhm,
Mike and
mhm.
really plugged into what all he has. I'm
Yeah.
like, holy shit! What have I been doing the last 5 years?
Yeah.
Like, it's a joke. And then once I started doing it and doing everything he shows me, boom, I was able to quit. It's done. I don't have time to do anything else.
Wow.
Right?
So you were part-time then. You're working part-time and doing real estate.
I was basically doing both full time, man. So I was actually an engineer to drive trains for freight
Wow.
trains. Yeah, man. So like, say I'd go to work, like they'd call, they'd say, ring, ring, the train's ready, be here in 2 hours, like Monday,
Okay.
Wednesday, Friday, right?
Yeah.
So I'd go to work, you'd get the train all together, whatever, and then we'd go to a place called Macadam, New Brunswick, in the middle of nowhere. You'd go to work, say at 2 in the afternoon, you'd get off at 8 or 9 at night. You'd be in a
Wow.
little friggin' bunkhouse up there. Then the phone would ring again at midnight. The train would be coming back from the States. Hop on that, off at like 5, 6 in the morning. I'd come home, sleep for 2, 3 hours, back up doing this for like friggin' 5 years, man.
Wow.
Like, it was brutal, and we built a house. We were flipping homes. friggin' brother passed away. It was a rough few years, but man, you grind through it, and again,
Wow.
the only reason I was most people would have quit, right?
Yeah, for
The hell
sure.
with this. I'm staying with
Mhm.
the secure job. I can't do all this, or I'm just gonna dabble in the real estate, do a deal here, deal there. And I come to realize, I'm like when we were talking jamming out before here, we were talking about how like life is so short. And if there's so much out there and so
Yeah.
much we can do. Like, and a lot of people aren't happy,
Yeah.
right? You're stuck in an office, or you're stuck working for somebody. Or in my case, I was stuck on a train for 60 hours a week, missing my family. And, like
Wow.
let's put this time in, let's build up a little nest egg, and then let's
Mhm.
take all these hours and put it towards my
Mhm.
business. And then that's why I say, like, I started learning about systems, how Mike does it, how all these top dog agents do it, and able to grow my business, right? And that you got to be around it. And that's why I love the Wolfpack, man. And like
Wow.
2 weeks ago, we had the editor from Marvel and Disney on our call.
That's sick.
You know what I mean? Like, he's
Yeah.
around us, so we're getting all these, different people done, like Brian Navabi. Do you know who Brian Navabi is?
Kinda sounds familiar.
Big fitness guy, like, just,
Okay, okay.
people from all different industries, and, like, just, again, being around it, man, changed everything.
That's huge, man. Congratulations. And I'm sure someone's listening right now and can relate to that because there's a lot of people out there that are working the 9 to 5s or working the grind. They're not happy. My wife, as well, we retired her 2 years ago from teaching for 16 years,
Wow.
physical education and PE. And then she was commuting. We moved from California to Gilbert, Arizona, outside of Scottsdale, about 20 minutes from Scottsdale here in Arizona. And she was commuting every single day, 45 minutes in the morning, 45 minutes at night, racking up miles in the car and not happy. And luckily the job that we retired her from, like, they loved her and she loved her job and it was a good exit. But so many years of doing that, and now she gets to control her own schedule, gets to work from home. Like I said before we got on air, she's making some sourdough. And I think that's what life's about, man. It's about
Yes.
finding the passions, man, finding what you love to do, and then making sure that you like. And a lot of agents don't do this. They don't turn their business into a business. They don't understand the standard operating procedures, the KPIs. I love how you're talking about getting into the CRM system and setting up email, text, reminders, birthdays,
Mm,
holidays, like be on top of that, right? Like
yeah.
have a system, make your phone calls in the morning, go do your door knocking. I love that you're doing the podcast. And so you're interviewing individuals and networking, getting yourself out there. And we talked about that before we got on the show. And I was watching one of your episodes, links on your bio. And if you want to go check out Evan, his links are down below
Thanks,
here.
man.
Yeah, man, for sure. But man, congratulations and kudos to you because the story you just told me, it kind of feels like a dream. Like getting on a train like that and like going to the middle of nowhere and doing that type of stuff. It's something that you would like see in a movie. Like I've never even met someone that does that before. That's a super interesting trait, dude.
Yeah, it sounds super cool, and I think to watch it from a train go by is kinda cool, but
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know,
yeah.
when you're on it, man, it's a long old
Uh,
friggin' job. And, like, there was
yeah.
nights, man, I remember being, in the middle of woods, like, we're Celsius down here, so we're,
Yep.
like,
Yep.
minus 30 degrees Celsius underneath a boxcar with 2 feet of snow up to my waist beating on a brake beam, right? You know what I
Wow.
mean? It's, like, the time, like, things like that, like, and I'm just like, I'm so glad I did it all. Like, man, I did that for 14 years right out of high school. I started working
Wow.
on the tracks there. So that was hard to
Brilliant.
give up, man. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that was part of my life. And we got paid weekly. So, and the saying's true, salary's like a drug, dude.
It
You
is
get addicted to it. And then I started
every single week.
slowly moving things around to like monthly payments and things like that, and
Mm,
moving things. But it, it was just, I just, like, when we were down in Florida here, like a week, 2 weeks ago,
yeah.
sitting there, my kids are going around the lazy river on the resort, and I'm chilling, and like things are good. And like, this is what life's all about. But what people see, that they see all the glory in this, but they don't see what you and I are doing behind the scenes, man.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. 100%.
like
And
I
they
think
don't.
I work more now than I did before. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, I'm right there with you. Yeah, we do, but it's something that you love to do, and then you could
Right.
like, your kids come home, pop out for an hour, and say what's up, and then go back to work. And because I
Yeah.
work remote, I'm sure you do too, from home,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
which makes it nice. And then that way you can be able to kind of ebb and flow. And sometimes, like my wife and I, we worked for like 2 weeks straight because before I got on air, I was talking about excavating 7,000 pounds of dirt so we could be able to get our travel trailer on the side of our house. And so there was no days off, right? The weekend was just like, okay, now we're going to get this ready. So it's set up, and then we could potentially have some passive income from it. And then, so it's always like that ebb and flow. But I think the cool thing is like doing what you did for so many years, like you would never have the appreciation that you have today if you didn't
No.
do what you did yesterday or like, years back,
Right, man. Everything from the past. I don't regret anything I did, man. You learn from it, right?
Yeah.
Can't look
Yeah.
in the rear view mirror. You can look straight ahead. But I'm
Straight
so
ahead.
glad I did that, man. But even for your wife doing she was a teacher for that long. Like that's a big move to leave that job. That's a good career, right? So
huge. Yeah, huge. And then psychologically in her mind, she was like working on trying to get over the paycheck thing because it is a drug. And I think people that should listen up here is like, you don't really understand what you don't understand until you get off that drip and you get off that steady paycheck. And then you're in like the who knows what, type of like no man's land. Like, am I gonna get paid? Am I not gonna get paid? Like I need to bust my ass to get paid. Got to do what I got to do to make it happen and make meets and meet. But it's been the best move that she's done by far. And so, which has been amazing. And then it's great for our daughter because now she gets to see a different light and she gets to see something outside of what her and I have seen because, my wife and I are the first, I'm sure probably you too, to be entrepreneurs, to set something in motion that's no one in our family has done. You know what I'm saying? The things that we have and the things that we've accomplished, it's almost just like, what? Like, I almost like sometimes need to pinch myself.
I know, man. Yeah, I'm the first one too, dude. And it's like we were talking about this on one podcast there, and I tread lightly with it, but like, man, like the schools and universities is so set up for the government. Like
they are, they
it's
just
so
are.
it's so like set up for the government. Like it's sad, really. Like there's so much. I think it's changing though. There's a lot of people starting to realize there's all kinds of different ways to make money in this new generation coming up.
A
But
ton
man,
of
if
people.
I think now, man, I don't know what it's like where you're at, but here where I live, if you're even remotely a savage in the new generation, like for our kids,
Yeah.
you have a 5-year-old, right?
Yep.
If they're even remotely a savage, man, they're gonna crush
Oh my God.
Rush it, man.
My
Kids are
daughter
still
already wants
people
to
are
do.
soft today, dude.
Oh my God. 100%. My daughter's looking at acting. I said, you want to act now or later? She's like, I want to do it now. I'm like, all right. I'll start looking at acting classes for you. Like her teachers, everyone says that she's amazing. She was watching Wednesday, that she got to dance down the whole night. And she was like, for Halloween, she was Wednesday, and the way that she was acting, I'm like you're dead on Wednesday right now. Like she's
Do it.
really good and she's 5. So I'm like, all right, like, I'm excited for her, right? And for our youth and for the children up and coming, because now we get to watch them really just focus on what gravitates to their emotional awareness and emotional well-being more
Right.
so than just like the bottom line. And I feel like, unfortunately, with the powers of be, it's been so much about bottom line, and that everything's been indoctrinated because at the end of the day, during like Andrew Carnegie, like Think and Grow Rich is a great book. I love that book. And going back into Henry Ford, Andrew Carnegie, all that type of stuff. It was like, let's set up a system where people go in and then they trade their time for money and then we'll give them security. And then it just spiraled out of control to a point now where I was reading Success Habit or Wealth Habits with her name's Candy. She's in my market. Candy, I can't think of her last name. And she talked about it. She's like, it's crazy to me that people in the society that we live right now will give a child that has just get out of high school, has no idea what they want to do. They're trying to figure it out. And they kind of have an idea, but they're not going to be like a doctor or a practitioner or something that really needs education. They're like, oh, I'll just try business school. I'll get to a point where I'll figure it out. Here's $100,000. Like, let me just give $100,000 to someone right out of high school that doesn't know what they want to do and put them into debt until how old? 50, 60 years old? Paying out for the rest of their life? It's ridiculous.
But they give them $100,000, but if they wanted to go in and buy a 2 or 3 unit, nope. Sorry, can't.
You want to start a business? Nope.
No, none of it. It's so
None of it.
Man, it fires me right up. It's crazy, dude.
Yeah. it's ass backwards, but it's great that it's coming up on our show here, and it's coming up more. I feel like you said on your podcast as well, and it's universal. I feel like from Canada to the States, I think it's pretty universal. And we work with a lot of people in the Philippines, and the thing that we really understood is that there wasn't a lot of open door policies out there. Even people in the Philippines had to like ask to go to the bathroom, and then they're sitting in traffic for hours on end. And I was out there and I saw it, and it was just like close to Vietnam is where the Philippines is, a place called like Boracay, which is beautiful. And then when you get into like Manila is like where you have like a lot of the VPO centers, whether it's Chase or Wells Fargo and that type of stuff. And they just have these giant compounds with these skyscrapers, and they just put all these Filipinos in these freaking compounds, and they do everything there. They do their laundry, they work out, they work, they live, they play in these giant compounds. And
Don't
so then
leave.
when you leave the compound, it's third world country. It's dogs and cats roaming, and just dirt everywhere, and just garbage everywhere, and houses that are half falling apart, and people washing themselves out of buckets. And so it's like, whoa. And so like, that's why, Liftoff Agent, sponsor the show, really likes to pour in and give them the freedom to work from home, get out of traffic and get out of poverty, and be able to like be the first to start a trend too in their own lives, which is really cool.
I love it, man. And the Liftoff Agent, like, when did you start that? Or
Liftoff Agent got started about 10 years ago, man. We've been doing it for about 10 years. And so called 350 agents to say, like, what are you going through? And agent said, like, we want to be different from our colleagues. We want tool sets from broker to broker, and we want the same support as a top performing real estate professional. A lot of title companies would favor top performers. A lot of agents don't have marketing degrees. They don't have business degrees. They take spaghetti to throw at the wall to see what sticks. And so like a lot of times you'll go to like the Wolfpack, or you'll go to a brokerage, and some of the brokerages like Keller Williams has the Bold program. EXP has some really good programs, but then you have downlines like the Wolfpack that gives you all these tools and resources, what have you. Well, hey, how's it going? Liftoff Agent's going to be the company that doesn't need to be a broker specifically, that can give you the tools and the resources and can be unbiased at a neutral party. So you don't have to specifically be at an actual brokerage or have to be on a specific downline or team. And that's why we have the podcast. So the podcast can be able to give back to someone who's watching right now, to be able to get more information. And then we have our YouTube channel, Liftoff Agent side, that gives tons of information, and we have a bunch of guides and resources and just stuff for free to build our own ecosystem. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
I can't wait to look into it a little bit more, man. When we get off this podcast here, I'm going to definitely look into it. Like, man, that's amazing what you've created, because people crave that. And I don't even, I try to explain too, like, that what we have over here is similar to what you have going on, right? Like, you have a lot of value that you can really help people and agents and anyone really in general. So when you try to explain it, people are they're so close-minded. I find, like, it's like, look, like, if you're a smart business owner at all, or you want to help yourself, like, at least do yourself the favor and look at Liftoff Agent or look at the Wolfpack. If it's not for you, great, but at least check it out. Like, why are you saying no right away? It doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't make any sense. And like, I'll give you an example. Like, you said, like, you're, small town, talked about the Wolfpack, and that automatically went to the Hangover, right? Because people, this is where it gets a little deep here, right? But people are indoctrinated, right? And people only know what they know based off the things that they've seen or been around or heard. So that's books, that's schooling, that's teachers, that's parents, that's friends. And we only know what we know because of the movies and the radio and the things that are influencing us. And so people are so influenced and so indoctrinated that they don't understand that they have a veil over their eyes, that if they just open the fucking curtains, excuse my language, they can see a whole other person, a whole new world. But they're so closed-minded because they don't know any other way. And then that's when the fear comes in, because people like to stay where it's comfortable.
Yeah. And that's like, man, that's one of the worst things. When you get comfortable.
I love being uncomfortable. Love it.
Me too, man. Like, I was a huge introvert, man. Like, for a long time, like, I couldn't walk into a restaurant and pull the camera out or something like that. Frig that, I'd be embarrassed as hell. Like, now I'm like, whatever. Like, if you don't, and I'm not saying this in a mean way or trying to be cocky or anything, but like, now I'm at the point in my life, I'm like, look, if you don't like me or you don't like it, then fuck it. Whatever. You're not going to work with me anyway.
Exactly. Well, it also, I think people need to realize once you leave the fear state mindset and you're off on your own, right? Like, Evan, you have no choice. Like, you have to do it. Like,
you're in
if you don't do
survival
it,
mode, man.
yeah,
That
your
hits.
kids aren't going to get fed. Like, you're not going to be able to
100%.
provide. So you got to pull out the camera. You got to have people be like, why are you wearing the bow tie? Like, why do you have the camera out? Why are you doing a podcast in this restaurant for? Oh, because I want to interview the restaurant owner because I'm a real estate agent and I want you to be able to know this restaurant's amazing.
Right.
Why
That's it.
not?
Why not? Man, and
You know?
like, I think what really changed for me when I left brick and mortar brokerage.
Mm,
That, man, when you get out of those four walls, bro,
yeah.
it is crazy. People want to go into an office, and I'm like, I just can't fathom it. I'm like, why? You're gonna
No.
go in there and socialize. Any
Yep.
of the top producers are not in the office.
Correct.
Period. In
Yep.
any business, right? They're
Mm-hmm.
not hanging
Mm-hmm.
out there, like, and no one wants to see you do better in there, right?
No.
Like, because you're their competition. So when I came over to EXP, the Wolfpack specifically, like, man, I have buddies now all over the world. I got a good friend in Hawaii that I met at EXPCon in Vegas. You know that he's in the like
Huge.
all over the place. We're all talking. We all want to see each other do good.
Yeah.
So like
Which is
that's
nice
what.
because you're in different markets. So you're not
Oh
all in
man,
one market. Like we were just at Keller Williams here locally, my wife and I, for a BNI type meeting. Our neighbors kicking it off. And so I said, sure, I'll come. I'll check it out. And it was fine. It was good. It was just like, yeah, you walk through the office and you just see people kind of sitting there and sitting here and
we
they have their fancy car out in the front, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, are they really a top producer? Who knows? But they have a nice car. That's cool. Congratulations. You've had some success. And it's just like, yeah, it's like, I don't need to. And that's why I even told, even with BNI, I was like, yeah, I like this, honey. But like, I'd rather go do a presentation in front of 30, 40, 50, 100 agents, right,
Mhm.
at the brokerage. Because then I can just talk to them all, serve support in a massive level, just like, what you guys are doing on the Wolfpack. You guys have your trainings each and
Yep.
every week to add more value, to do more. And that's why we're really excited about working with Connor, because now we can be able to help pour rocket fuel on really getting a lot of exposure for both ends, for Mike and also for Connor, because those are pretty much the two founding fathers, if you will,
Yep.
to get the brand out there, right? And I know that I know Mike's gonna be more motivated to promote the Wolfpack on his side, as Connor would be more motivated to promote the Wolfpack on his side because of the way the structure and how everything works, right? And people
Yep.
don't really understand a lot of the mechanics of how that works, but I love it, man. I love that you got more focused. I love that you change that mindset, and then you can even say, like, publicly, like, I've been in 7 years, but literally it's been 2 years. I had no idea what the fuck I was doing.
No
And now
fucking
I
clue.
get it. And I think there's people out there right now listening to this podcast or watching on YouTube that'd be like, oh, what do you mean? I'm 7 years in. What? And I am doing my part-time job. Maybe I should look at something different. And that's
100%.
what this is for.
And like today, so did you see me on my the podcast with Mike? Did you? Is that kind of how you?
Yeah. So I saw
Yeah.
it was
So like we wouldn't be here today, man, if I never switched, right?
yeah,
Like
100%. It's because of who you're associated with, right? And what you're doing. And that's where I think everything happens for a reason and great minds come alike. Like
yeah, man.
that's just what it is.
I was
100%.
on a Zoom call there too, not too long ago with Ricky Caruth. You
Yep.
know Ricky? Man, that
Yep.
guy's killing it too. Like that was all because I went to EXPCon in Vegas, got meeting him. Now we're doing a Zoom call together. I'm like, man, like this would have never happened, right? So
Yep.
I worked at KW before went to EXP.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, man. So it was good, but I don't have anything against it. Like there's a good fit for everyone, but I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
just like, man, like just doesn't make sense. Like why spend you get the stocks, you get more money, like but everybody's scared of that virtual thing, right? I have better relationships with my virtual friends than I do some of my real ones that are at home. So,
right there with you, bro. And that's where it's interesting. I think that working from home, it's not for everyone. It does take some time. You do have to transition into it. You do have to be self-motivated, because you could sit in, these four walls and you're just like, well, what am I doing? And then do a podcast like this, and then you get in rooms with people that you maybe wouldn't have that opportunity. So that's why I'm really grateful for your time too, man, because it's great to
Same
be
here,
able to
man.
vibe out and be with someone who's like-minded, who's absolutely crushing it. So this has been, it's been a lot of fun, man.
It's been awesome, Norm. I love it, man. Thank you so much for all of this, and I can't wait to check out Liftoff Agents. If anyone out there today, check out Norm's Liftoff Agent. If you have
Hey,
anything about the Wolfpack or EXP, reach out. We got you.
hey, I really appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. And it's cool. Like with our thing too, is like, we're more of like the digital marketing agency. So like the Wolfpack's great for like mindset, practical action. You can do things with your CRM, get things done with that, which is great. And we're more of like the, hey, let's get it done. And so we're the company that will actually get it done, but also give you resources and information and what have you. So that way we could build the foundation, get you focused on your avatar, and then help you get the content disseminated out there, pour some rocket fuel with some ads, and then really be able to get more awareness in your local community. That's the goal. I think a lot of people don't understand this, but like, man, if you could just be the mayor of your local city or your town, and you could just know everyone, like all the small business owners and the schools and the parks and the restaurants, and you could literally just showcase that and like literally just be a community resource, like you could be able to like grow a team, and you could be able to do so much if you just were to focus in your community. And a lot of people don't think about that, but they should, they really should.
No, man, that you're 100% right. That one thing before we hop off here, I just thought of it about a
Yeah.
team. Um, so many agents and entrepreneurs start their goal is right away. "Oh, I'm going to start a team. I'm going to start a team." And I look
Mm-hmm.
back now, like most people aren't even ready for a team. I wasn't. I'm just getting. I need to have everything perfect before I can even have the responsibility of trying to help another agent
Yeah. Yeah.
or person in general, right? So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of these teams across the world globally, like they're not even really a team. Like a team is a really well-oiled machine, right?
Yeah.
So
100%.
anyway, I just wanted to throw that in there.
I love
I
that.
don't know
Hey,
why it just came to
hey,
me, dude. I was like,
hey,
anyway.
that's, we're at the end of the show anyways, and we like for our our guests to leave a golden nugget. And I like that because it's so true. I think in closing, like whoever's listening and viewing, like just be smart about what you're doing, and don't get ahead of yourself with like EXP model and the real model and growing a downline and doing education and all the
Right.
things. Like Mike Sherrard was successful as a real estate professional before he started something, and then built
Mhm.
the systems and the processes and just duplicated it and said, this is what's working for me, and this is how I've had success. This is how I'm going to then give it to you, and then you can duplicate it.
Right.
Where I feel like if society as a whole, we all work like this together, dude, the world would be a total different place. It'd be
Mhm.
crazy.
It would be crazy, dude.
It'd be
I love it,
crazy,
man.
dude.
But send over that liftoff agent stuff. I want to hear more about it,
Yeah.
Norm. I want to see how you do it, and maybe you can help me.
Yeah. I appreciate you, bro. This has been amazing. I'll send everything over to you. Thanks for being on the show. Go follow Evan Young
Yes.
down below.
Yes.
Instagram, social media, everything's down below. Check out his podcast, see what he's doing. Check out his beautiful family. And thanks for watching, everyone out there. We appreciate your time, and it's our intention for you to take things from our podcast to apply to your business, have more massive success. Like, subscribe. Thanks for Liftoff for sponsoring. And Evan, you're the real one, man. Appreciate you.
Awesome, Norm. Cheers, buddy. See ya.
Cheers.